I believe I have sound. I believe that everything is actually working right now. We have just you and myself. I did want to tell you something before we get started. I had
Yes.
a really nice comment on my comments, and it reminded me to send you a screenshot. But it was a gentleman who said they just really liked listening to us gab about it. They've been longtime
Oh,
fans, and
fun.
they appreciated it, which I was like, well, cool.
Aw.
That's kind of why we're up here. It's just because, you know, I don't know about you, but finding people just around you that you can just gab about Star Trek is difficult.
Yeah. And it's always kind of
It's
neat.
yeah, to hear a conversation you can at least relate to.
hmm
So,
Yeah. And I put up on TikTok, it got like 10 or 15 views and a couple of likes. So maybe some people will pop in. I put Eastern Standard, right?
yeah, it is Eastern Standard Time.
Okay, good.
Although I have learned that saying that means absolutely nothing to many,
Absolutely.
many people. It is currently 9 p.m. here where we are doing this stream. So, whatever time is 9 p.m. here is not 9 p.m. where you are. Hopefully, that's a hint
Right.
for next time. Yeah,
Right.
with the woman that I usually do the Outlander chat with, she's in Colorado, 2 hours ahead, and twice she was like, I
Oh,
didn't know what time, so it's no big deal. All right, so
right.
I'm gonna get us started if that's cool with you. If you are joining
Yes.
us today, we are excited to welcome season 2 of Strange New Worlds into our mythology of the Trek universe, and there are some things that I think everyone is really looking forward to seeing. If you are joining me, my name is Katie. This is my corner in space. I am a huge Trekkie, have been all of my life, and I am joined by my younger sister, who has not been my little sister since I think we were 12 and
12.
9.
I
But
kept growing and she stopped.
this is absolutely true. And, and if you'd like to introduce yourself with
Hello, my
your
name
little
is
spiel.
Erica. Yes. Hello, my name is Erica, and I'm the Dyslexic Trekkie. I am here with my ensign, Ensign Bradbury. He is anxiously waiting for his next treat.
Nope, there we go. Does he get a treat if he behaves while we're chatting?
Yes,
Okay.
he just got one.
Computer, set a timer for 25 minutes. I forgot to set it before.
Whoops. Well, if we get cut off, it won't be the first.
No, it won't, but it's impolite.
Yeah, yeah, I
Now,
know.
I'm gonna let you, since you are my guest each week, would you like to lead us off with something that you are looking forward to, curious about, can't wait to see on the second season?
Yes, and I will say I have a favorite character on Strange New Worlds, and I am 100% convinced we're related to her. Her name got passed down through the family. I think I worked out with Irene that she did it. So this is one of your daughter's um, great grandchildren. Erica Ortega is getting off the ship, and they said they're actually going to give her a real story and some backstory into who she was before before Enterprise.
Yeah,
And
that's what I
I
heard
want to
too.
hear her story. Yeah,
Well,
I also
at the
want to see
very
her
least,
land that
she's
ship.
getting a. I'm sorry, I have a terrible habit of talking over
Mm-hmm,
people. I'm going to try to get better about it. I was just going to say that I did hear that either way, she's supposed to be getting a Erica centric episode. Rather, it gives us her
mm-hmm.
backstory, or if she's just the hero. I'm here for it.
Oh yeah, she's the coolest. I love her, and she is definitely family in other ways as well, which is always fun to see. Honestly, I saw that buzz kind of like when I first saw her, just pointing at the screen, going yes.
Yeah, she got some flack about the hair, but if there's one thing Strange New Worlds is known for, is about their hair. It really is between Pike and the fact that Uhura could have a more culturally relevant haircut rather
Mm-hmm,
than a beehive because everybody else had one.
mm-hmm,
Um, and then, of course, like you said, Erica's haircut. People were like, I'm gonna go get this one. I do not have the
mm-hmm.
hairline. I considered it. I was like, you know what? I think that would look really good in purple. Um, but I don't have the hairline for it. I could not pull it off. But yeah, and I love the fact that she does sort of remind me of you. Just sort of she's a go getter, and you can say what you want to say kind of person. She is who she is, and she's
Right.
full force all the time. It's incredible. But you finally got a namesake, and I'm really happy about that. I'm a little jealous they spelled her name correctly. But I won't get picky about that. Now I
I'm
want to
going, yeah.
say, no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say one day I'm gonna make some merch that says "Okay, Erica, do something awesome," because I
Oh,
completely
see,
melted when I heard that.
yeah, yeah, and you can get away with that because that's your name.
Hmm.
I'm going to say that I would like to. I don't want to take over, but this could take just a minute.
Hmm.
The relationships, the pairing ups that it looks like could be happening this season,
Hmm.
I found rather interesting, quite frankly. I thought once we did the little haha, let's tease the Chapel Spock pairing in season one, I really thought that was the last we would see of it. I did not think that they would do it again. And in the teaser, you can clearly see them kissing, kind of questioning what it means. And then immediately afterwards, Spock is either dancing a dance of joy or he's really angry with himself. And I honestly can't tell which.
I didn't see that. Um,
Oh,
I
yeah, he's like
I'm not
punching the air.
surprised. I I can see them doing it because, well, it's something you mentioned in a video from last year when you said that the cannon was blown when the two of them knew about his fiance, and I was like, it's challenged, but
it,
it's
it,
not completely
yeah.
blown yet because they could put the genie back in the bottle if for some reason Nurse Chapel believes that they ended it.
Okay,
And
okay.
I think, and also having them have some sort of romantic history explains her pining in the first series.
Yeah,
If
because that
like,
always bugged me. Even when I was a kid, I was like, my gosh, she is so whiny over a guy who really could care less.
and if there was a history of him caring more, it kind of makes a little more sense. It still is a bit extra, but it kind of makes a little more sense.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I tend to take these as
Compromise.
okay, we have some possible background, but it's not going to be followed
Hmm.
exactly. Another example of that, not having to do with the relationships, is going to
Yeah.
be Kirk coming back. Now, I say back because we saw him last year, but obviously he hasn't even
Hmm.
met, Pike yet because what we
Hmm.
saw in season one was supposed to be 7 years in the future of an alternate timeline. So, we're going to see them meet for the first time for real.
Yeah.
And
I hope they don't play that silly little game where Pike has to remember that he's not supposed to know him. Will they do that where they, oh, it's great to see you again? He's going, again, we've never met.
no, I think
I hope they don't play that little game because that
they
gets a
might
little
not.
annoying when they pull it.
See, I'm going to cut you off. I'm so sorry, but I,
Yeah.
I don't think they're
Yeah.
going to do anything terribly because even though they don't have temporal laws or directives yet, I think that
Hmm.
common sense would tell Pike, all right, do not go up to this guy and go, guess where you're going to be in 7 years? Or, I know
Yeah.
you. We met 7 years in the future. I think he'll play it off like, oh, it's nice to meet you. It'll be a pleasure to work with
Yeah.
you, sir. Or not, sir, because he's, a lieutenant and Pike's captain. I assume a lieutenant might be, I think he's lieutenant, maybe commander, but I'm fairly sure he's a lieutenant at this point.
10
Anyway.
years, I would think he would be a lieutenant still. I
Yeah,
would think.
yeah, I feel like that's right. I just can't remember specifically on the timeline if that's where he is. But yeah. So,
Yeah.
all right, what's another one for you that you are just what's going to happen next thing?
Okay. This the I'm terrible with names. The actress who's playing the new engineer.
Carol
Um,
Kane.
she Carol Kane, thank you. She is such a great comedic actor, and there's a lot that translates between comedy and drama when it comes to timing. Plus, it looks like she's playing a funny character as well. I really want to see what she does with it. And there's again one of my little head canons. She has a Russian accent. I want her last name to be Rozhenko.
Or
I know
Chekhov.
it's
I mean,
probably not. I if it was, I think it would be so funny if the original, if like Worf's great, or it would be like great great grandma, was
Yeah,
the
and
engineer for the original Enterprise. That would be funny to me.
and Worf's dad was the engineer, wasn't he? Now that I think about it, when he came on the Enterprise, he was all, yeah, come show me the warp drive, and was driving Geordi nuts. Um,
I think so, yeah.
not crazy
Um,
crazy. He was happy about it, but he was, he was embarrassing Worf, I should say. He wasn't driving him nuts, but he was
yeah.
embarrassing Worf. But yeah,
And
I
he
I
knew
was
his way
really
around.
he did. He knew his way around the ship. I
Yeah.
too, like you, and there's some discussion about, is it Pelia or Pelia for the lieutenant who will be our
Hmm.
engineer. Um, I'm not sure how the pronunciation will go. I want to say Pelia, but I think that's because I'm thinking of Lorne from Angel, who is from Pylea, and that has nothing to
Oh,
do with Star Trek. So I'm I'm I sh- I'm still mad that we got rid of Hemmer, and I say got rid of
yeah.
because I think he was brought on just so Uhura would feel pain and stick around, have a reason to be there
Hmm.
with such a deep backstory. What do you think about that thought?
Yeah, well, it kind of makes sense with his mission is to fix what is broken, and she was broken. And when he fixed her, he was done. Yeah, he is definitely in the same category as Yar when it comes to the pointless but necessary deaths. I'm going to do a hot take sometime that's just focused on different deaths because it's one of those where I hate it and it I agree with it for all the reasons I hate it.
Okay, that's fair.
Because yeah, but I always feel like we got to embrace the new person too. And whatever she's going to bring into it, is going to be its own unique energy. And like I said, she's an amazing comedic actor,
Hmm.
and just seeing how that translates into the drama of the show and her comedic timing is going to play into that, I want to see it. And I think if they were going to pick a person to replace him, somebody like her is just about as right as you can get.
And she only had one small speaking part in the trailer, but it's
Mm-hmm.
Uhura saying, I think she says, I have a crazy idea, or I have a wacky
Oh, I
something.
love
I
crazy
have this,
ideas.
I have a crazy idea. And yeah, I love crazy ideas. That right there, I think tells us we're going to enjoy her, and everything you
Yeah,
said. Great with the comedy, great with the delivery, that little bit. And you're like, okay, she's going to be enjoyable. So,
yeah. I would like for there to continue to be some recognition of Hemmer, but at the same time, on a starship, that's only going to stay for so long. The people are going to have to, for their own mental health, find a way to incorporate it in themselves and then continue on.
and that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because that's just sort of how you run when you're in a kind
Mm-hmm.
of, and I hesitate to use the word military, but an organization like
Mm-hmm.
that, you have losses and you learn to accept that as part of your life, and go on with the next part. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think that, yeah, I hope that there's some recognition, but I don't expect him to pop up in conversation on a regular basis.
Right. I could see them having a moment where she's saying, sorry, one more thing. I could see a moment when she's like, oh, this thing makes no sense. I've got to reorganize this place. And I don't know why this is set up this way. And they go, because the previous engineer was blind. Oh, kind of that kind of moment. That needs to be there somewhere. Okay, now I shut up.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I say I'm trying not to cut people off when we talk. Um, Did you notice the scene at the end of I want to say the first trailer, but I do get the two mixed up, where Kirk and La'an are shopping?
Yes. I'm what was it? I'm from space. And I'm going, no, you're from Iowa.
I'm curious on your thought on that. Time
So
traveling?
yeah, because but the thing is, some of the things I've seen about what's going to happen shows that there's some attack. The sorry, the lizard guys attacked Earth,
Gorn.
and thank you. The Gorn
Yeah.
attacked Earth, and it feels to me like that's related to that. But if it's time travel, it doesn't make sense. But if those kinds of doors continue into the future, he should know how they work because he's not from space. He's from Iowa.
That's the line that
So
made me crazy. He's like, I'm from space. And I'm like, no, you're not. You're from Iowa, dude. Everybody knows you're from Iowa.
if
That's no
they,
excuse.
I would accept Spock and them schlepping before I will accept that Kirk did not get raised in Iowa.
No, so I mean, I think that there's a he was raised in Iowa, but so that's why I say it has to be time
Yeah.
travel because, you know, 200 years in the future ish, 100, yeah, 200 years in the future ish from now, maybe everybody's all got automatic doors and revolving doors just aren't even a thing. He wouldn't have known what they are.
Yeah.
According to the reboots, he knew how to drive a stick shift, but he didn't know how to use revolving doors as an adult. So I hesitate to believe some of these things, but it is a
Yeah.
funny moment.
Oh yeah.
And there is a scene in the trailer where it looks like the Enterprise is going towards the sun. So the time travel thing could be another,
Yeah.
we're going to go save those whales moment. Um, just a thought.
Yeah. I can see that. And although it would make a couple of moments in Star Trek 4 be a little bit weird because there's only one person who could do that math, and that's Spock. And when he does that math in Star Trek 4, um,
But
he
he is
wasn't sure
brand
he could
new in
do
Star
it.
Trek 4. Now, and remember, he's all kind of
Ah,
brand
that's
new again in Star
true.
Trek 4. Maybe he might remember all the logical stuff, but maybe he doesn't have every single memory rebooted yet.
Uh,
And
okay.
again, we,
I
we,
could,
we do let
uh,
some things kind of go just for the sake of a new story and in the right spirit. So that's just
yeah,
my thought. I'm
yeah,
thoroughly excited for the crossover. I love a good
yes.
crossover. And my only complaint is Boimler's hair is not purple enough. If that purple in Lower Decks is the cartoon version, then I am the cartoon version of me. So I would like to know why it's not purple enough. But so that's my only complaint. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the Lower Decks crossover big time. And I think that's going to be the seventh episode, if I recall.
Yeah. Now I will admit that Lower Decks is my least favorite. I've said
That's
this,
okay.
but I don't dislike it. There are parts of it I do enjoy. I would not watch it just for myself. I watch it to keep up to date, but I do like it. Um, I would I think I would enjoy the characters in real life more. So I want to see how they interact, especially knowing how much Boimler hero worships all of these people. And I want to
He
see if he's
does.
going to screw himself up so much that he ends up being retroactively the screw up, even though he's the most like Starfleet out there.
Yeah, he is the most Starfleetiest Starfleet officer in Starfleet. Um, you know he's gonna say the wrong thing. He's gonna put his foot in his mouth because he's trying too hard, and that is Boimler's overall personality. He is really, really smart and really wants to do well, and usually overcompensates and does something that causes
Mm-hmm.
havoc in some way.
Mm-hmm.
I too started watching Lower Decks simply because of the wanting to keep up with the Star Trek
Mm-hmm.
story. But I
Mm-hmm.
also happen to like cartoons written for adults. I watch Family Guy, I watch American Dad, I watch Futurama even, and I'm waiting for Hulu to reboot it like they promised. Um,
Yeah.
but so I mean, Lower Decks is not a huge stretch for me. The
Right.
things that were a huge stretch for me were more in the beginning when they were like, okay, and the ship is now being attacked by zombies. And I'm thinking, no, I watched Walking Dead last week. Um, I'm good. But but I've
Yeah.
enjoyed I really have enjoyed the characters. I think that they have an interesting take on Star Trek being able to do it in cartoon. And so the
Yeah.
characters are bigger than life and louder than
Mm-hmm.
life. Um,
And there are
But
aliens they can bring in that they could never bring in live action. The one where they go to the aviary and the hawk people are living there, and they couldn't do that. Peanut
no,
hamper on that bird planet could never
no,
happen.
no.
But yeah, it's funny because I like the characters. I enjoy the characters. I think the concept of the B class ships is kind of neat because where do the people who are good go? Not the greats, but the good. That's where they go.
Right.
Um, I think it's just my problem is sitcoms work by making people look stupid. And I don't like that humor. And there is a lot of Boimler being made to look stupid. If that wasn't in the show, it wouldn't be Lower Decks, but I like it more. But
I
again, I
understand.
do enjoy the show. It's just the bottom of the list. Something's got to be at the bottom, right?
This is true.
Behave yourself. I know. Yeah, Ray agrees. He likes it because he gets to see another Cadian. He doesn't get to see other Cadians.
There you go. The doc is his
Yeah.
friend.
Yes, he relates to her a lot.
I personally was like, cool, a character with my haircut. And and really that
Yeah.
was all that sold me to watch it again. And
Hmm.
unfortunately, I am the overcompensating, oops, I messed it up anyway person. So I sadly relate to Boimler in a lot of ways. But that's again why
Yeah.
we like Trek, because there's almost always somebody you can relate to in some way.
Right.
Now, I'm going to go
You're,
back to,
yeah.
oh, go ahead.
So, go on, go
I'm
on.
jumping before we keep this up for the next 10
Yes,
minutes.
yes.
The other relationship that I wanted to talk about that I thought was really interesting was, and I think I sort of brought it up, is La'an and Kirk.
Yeah, yeah. What are they gonna do with that? Because I,
I
I,
don't even
I
care if
can
they
see
get
it being,
together. I just want to see La'an be nervous.
yeah, it's gonna be completely one-sided, and she's not gonna know how to show it, and he's gonna leave going, "It was a pleasure working with you," and she's gonna leave going, "Damn it." And
I
I
can't
will
do
relate to
words,
that.
words are hard.
Yeah.
Because when Erica is landing them, and I
Hmm.
say landing, falling towards a planet, towards death, and Pike is freaking out, and Benga is freaking out, Ortega's grinning from ear to ear, and La'an's just calmly going, all right, cool, what we doing next? She is not worried. She does not get phased. So just the
Yes,
idea that she's flustered, I
yes.
kind of adore that.
Hmm. Yes, she does not have fear downloaded into her hard drive, but apparently she has shy.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? That kind of does make sense with the she's a hard-shelled personality. She's
Hmm.
tough. She's, training people. She's secure. Security is just tough. You have to be on alert and not just
Yeah.
physically tough, but you can't you've kind of got to judge people before you meet them just by looking at them, and
Hmm.
apparently she judged Kirk in a way that many females have in the past. Um I do I do want to mention that over the last year, I have come to not enjoy so much. No, I would say enjoy. I've come to accept Paul Wesley as Kirk. I rewatched that last episode and I
Hmm.
thought, you know what, as the young version, I can kind of see this. Now,
Yeah.
in that seventh episode, he's the current version, not so much the young version because he's playing out a time that actually happens in the original series. However,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I can kind of see it now. It doesn't irritate me as much, and I could get into it. So I'm getting past that, no, you're a vampire, part of my problem.
I think it's easier because I didn't really care for that show. I
Watch too
I
much
just
TV.
yeah. Um Honestly, I think if they got too close to Shatner, there's the uncanny valley. You're gonna nitpick every little bit that's wrong. But if there's just kind of a general feel of a similar, not type, but kind of archetype, it's like,
Yeah,
okay, they're not the same person, but they'll work. And if he
yeah,
can
yeah.
act the part, act. I'm
If you
always gonna
can,
make that jab. Yeah.
if you can encompass the essence of the point of the character, the reason the character was
Hmm.
important, and the personality traits that made them likable, enjoyable. Ethan Peck has done a fabulous job of that with
Hmm.
Spock. You can, and even though it's supposed to be a few years earlier, and there's some things on the timeline and his personality that were like, that's not quite right, you can see and sense the
Hmm.
Spock that Leonard Nimoy was trying to be without being upset that it's not Leonard Nimoy. So
Right.
he did a really good job.
Yeah, I can see him as Spock. I like when he was in sorry, not Strange New Worlds, in Discovery. There's sometimes you're listening to the audio files and it is eerie how much like Leonard Nimoy he sounds.
He had to have studied some, like, these are the
Yeah,
recordings
he
of
had
Leonard
to.
Nimoy talking and getting
Hmm.
the cadence of his speech.
Right.
What do you think we are? I will say that in the trailer we see that Una is back on the bridge.
Hmm.
But how do you think that trial specifically is going to go?
I can't imagine because it's such a taboo. It's such, yeah, really, he agrees to. It's such a scandal to have been genetically augmented. Um, I think she's going to have to prove that she had her augmentations reversed or something, or agree to have them reversed or something. Which,
Okay.
I mean, it's sci-fi Star Trek. Um, Given where it ends, I just I wonder if they're going to do the thing where she's back because there's one crisis only she can help with, and then she's going to go to jail. I wonder if they're going to play that and she doesn't actually get um, let go because with the things that happen in DS9 with Bashir, it almost cheapens that a little bit if she is let back into Starfleet completely. I don't know. I want her to get out free, but I can't see it happening. I
Well,
can't
the
see how
difference
they're going to get there.
I would say the difference between DS9 and we don't know the full backstory for Una as far as I'm
Hmm.
aware. The difference is
Yeah.
that Bashir's parents had a child and decided to change him. The
Hmm.
Illyrians, we don't know if the genetic changes happen before birth, if it happens during conception, if it happens, at a
Hmm.
certain age, if a child is tested with certain issues, because as she says, their augmentations were to make themselves more acceptable to whatever the environment they're in. And so,
Hmm.
computer stop timer. I think that may come into account. I think that her record will be obviously have to be looked at, and her
Yeah.
peers.
Hmm.
I don't know what's going to turn the tables. I do know that in Prodigy, when it came to the augment of oh, and now his name is leaving me, but the
It is that.
lead
Yeah.
young character Dal. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry
Thank you.
for Dal. The reason that they made the exception for him was that augmentation was to make things more exceptional, better, and he was the most average of all the things that he was made of. Of all the
Yeah.
species, he was the most average of Tellarite, average of Vulcan, average of. So he was
Hmm.
a mix, and yes, he was augmented, but not in any way that made him better than anybody else.
Right.
And
He's essentially just a very heavy mix.
yeah, he's a mutt
Yeah.
with no special butts or
Yeah.
whatever. I have no idea.
Right. Yeah.
Um, Let's see. Can't tell how much time we have. We are down to 32 seconds. Are we really? No, we're down
Three
to three
minutes and
minutes and
30
20
seconds.
seconds. I need new glasses. I have an appointment coming.
Uh,
Let's see. Do we have anything else on the list? I think the only other people that I had wanted to bring up who I did not put in my list. Oh well. Um, Pike's love interest. The captain, and I had her
yeah.
name here a moment, and as soon as I see it, I'm like, well, yes, of course, that's what it is. But I can never remember at the time. So give me half a brain and half a second. I know I had it up here just so I'd be able to look it up. Can you see all my searches in my glasses? There we go. Battelle. Thank you. Sorry.
So,
Captain Battelle. Did you see the part in the trailer where it looks like a ship is coming down to someplace,
Yeah.
ready to attack?
Um,
That is supposed to be a Gorn ship. The captain is there, and the Gorn don't take prisoners. I do feel like Batel is in trouble.
yeah, I have a strong feeling that's like they're going to, I have a strong feeling that's going to be episode one. I have a
Okay.
reason because if they're in the middle of their trial and the Gord attack the Earth, everything's going to be put on pause. It's going to be all hands on deck.
Okay.
Are they really going to have Una just sit and wait?
No, that's a good
So
theory.
I,
That makes sense.
yeah, yeah.
All right then. So, yeah, that makes sense to me. I hadn't put
Mhm.
those pieces together in that order. So yeah, I have nothing else to add.
Yeah,
Because my thought
but
was,
it,
okay,
yeah.
the Gorn are coming, and there are certain characters that we've gotten to know in this show that we never see in the original series. And
Hmm.
Benga is not one of them. Obviously, we do know he exists after the show. Chapel, Spock, Uhura,
Right.
Pike. And so when they
And
bring in these characters that are love interests that look like they're supposed to be around for a while, I worry like, okay, I wonder how they're going to get killed off. Not in any nice way either.
well, Ortega's going to be promoted. She's going to become like a trainer at the academy or something. She's going to be safe.
Okay, you've saved Ortega's. That's good. That makes me
Okay,
feel a little
yeah.
bit better.
Oh, yeah.
because because you're like, okay, wow, I really like this character. Obviously, they
That's,
can't have made them in the original series because they didn't know they were going to be in the past series, but it's really upsetting that they've introduced them now. Because there are some people that we know do
yeah.
not have a good future coming, not just Pike. We know Sam Kirk is going to get killed off. So,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's
don't
the retroactively ruining
yeah, yeah,
because,
we know he's
yeah.
going to die. And that just sucks. All right. Well, we are down to 1 minute or less. So I am going to thank you, Erica, so much for coming and babbling at me with about Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 2. And we just got cut off. I want to thank everyone for coming and listening. And if you enjoyed this chat, please give it a like. Please subscribe. There will probably not be any more live chats on Thursday evenings during the airing of Strange New Worlds. However, there will be a new review once a week, most likely out on Friday, possibly out on Thursdays. Some weeks may be a little bit late. I tell you this ahead of time simply because I will be going on vacation twice. Once I will be going to Disney World, and the second time we will be headed to Las Vegas for Star Trek Las Vegas in August. So, if you enjoyed this chat, please give it a like below. Let us know what you thought, and I will see you again next week for a review of Strange New Worlds Season 2.